Last week it was announced that the nWo was going into the Hall of Fame, and the creator and the on-screen manager and underboss and overlord, etc., of the nWo, not included. What do you think of the news?
Oh, I probably didn't think about it as much as everybody else does and has, based on my Twitter feed. My first reaction was, well, it's about fucking time.
Sure.
Number one. And then with regard to myself, I didn't really start thinking about it until, again, my Twitter's feed started blowing up. I went, well, it is a little weird, but at the same time, I've said it before on this show, probably more than once. I think X-Pac is one of the most underrated assets in the nWo. I think X-Pac brought not only a lot of his natural chemistry, based on his relationship with Scott and Kevin, but he just had a little bit of an edge that just fit so well with the nWo. He was so different that I'm happy to see X-Pac in there. And, Hulk called me, said, man, I don't get it. I said, don't worry about it, man. You got other stuff about it. I'm not worried about it. So my only reaction was, man, it's about time. And I was proud, I guess, to see it. It's well deserved. The nWo is not given it nearly. I mean, it's got a lot of credit. Don't get me wrong. People still acknowledge it. People are still buying the merchandise. I have to guess that the nWo merchandise is probably still some of the highest selling merchandise in the nWo catalog, based on the amount of it that I see at every wrestling event that I ever go to anywhere in the world. But the nWo storyline, the angle, all the things that came with it, and there was a lot of things that came with that storyline, probably changed the industry more than anything else in the last 30 years, with the exception of possibly, the beginning of WrestleMania and, back when WWE, eliminated it, or not eliminated, put the territory business kind of out of business and went national. Other than that giant pivotal move, the nWo, the storyline, and all the changes that came along with it is probably the next biggest thing in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I would think you're fair to say from 89 forward, the nWo is probably, the biggest force, because from the nWo, we saw lots of other spin-off acts, including DX, which went in ahead of the nWo. So now Scott Hall is going to be a 2-time Hall of Famer. He went in by himself and now with the nWo. Same thing with Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. But Sean Waltman went in with DX and now with the nWo. So all of those 4 guys who are going on with the nWo are now 2-time Hall of Famers. And Eric Bischoff still doesn't have any hardware. And I think it's just a fucking travesty that the guy who created the thing isn't getting credit for it. To me, even if you weren't the creative force behind it, when the Horseman went in, JJ got a ring. The on-screen Eric Bischoff character should have as well. Do you think, or do you put any stock into the rumor and innuendo, or the speculation as it were, that perhaps the reason you weren't included is your most recent dealings with WWE?
No, because as a matter of fact, they just reached out to me today and asked me to do some things on the network. So it's not like I don't have a good relationship with them. I left on good terms. I had a good conversation with Vince, after I left, and, absolutely enjoyed to death working with everybody that I did. And I've had some of the top executives in the company reach out to me and in great support. So I don't think that's it. I think, look, if there's anything, I still think, and I don't know what the process is. I don't know if there's a committee of people that discuss, the Hall of Fame, or if it's one person's job, or, I don't know what the criteria is. It's all subjective. But I think if there's anything that may still get under people's crawl, in many cases, they probably won't even admit it to themselves, is that it was an idea that changed the industry that wasn't theirs.
Right.
And I still believe that there's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's resentment as much as it is an overall desire to rewrite history and make it look like the nWo was originally a WWE idea. I don't know. I really don't. But I don't worry about it. I don't think about it until this time of year rolls around, and especially this year for obvious reasons. But it's just not something I give a lot of thought to.
Let me ask your opinion of the Hall of Fame. You know, there's really two takes amongst all, all of the old timers, so to speak. It's either, oh, it's just a stupid TV show and a class ring and a payday. I don't care. And then the other attitude is, no, it's a great honor. And, there's not a traditional sort of mainstream high profile pro wrestling Hall of Fame. Sure, there are a few others. But the WWE one certainly gets the most attention, and to be recognized, whether there were politics involved or not, is pretty cool. Where do you land on the importance of the Hall of Fame from your perspective?
I would find myself in the latter camp. I think, look, the Hall of Fame is my favorite part of WrestleMania weekend. I think the emotion that you see there with the people that are being inducted is all real, and so real that one of the biggest challenges with the Hall of Fame historically over the last several years is getting people off the stage. They don't want to leave the stage. They're out there in front of their peers. It's a phenomenal moment for them, and it means a lot to them. It's their body of work. It's what most of the people who were honored in the Hall of Fame, or are honored in the Hall of Fame, are being recognized for essentially their life's work as an adult. And many of them sacrificed a lot of things for it. They sacrificed marriages and their lives with their wives, children, husbands, whatever, and travel. And sure, a lot of them, not a lot of them, many of them made a lot of money. But once you're out of the limelight, once you're out of the spotlight, and then you have the opportunity to step back in, and for however brief a period of time that is I know that it's a really rewarding feeling. I've experienced a little bit of that myself. And I know, having been there and having been on stage a couple of times, or at least once, when I inducted DDP, that the emotion that everybody feels is very, very real. And they take a tremendous amount of pride. And so I think it is a great honor. I don't think about the politics. I try not to anyway. I love it. I love the Hall of Fame. It's, like I said, it's my favorite part of WrestleMania.
So I think the natural, next question is, hey, maybe we've sort of jumped the gun a little bit, and the person they're going to ask to induct the nWo is Eric Bischoff. Have you been asked to induct the nWo? And if not, would you if asked?
I have not, and I'll tell you when I'm asked. It all depends, I guess, on I don't know what it depends on. I guess maybe my mood at the time. I don't know.
Well, was going in the Hall of Fame, and they were inducting Hulk Hogan, who will be a 2-time Hall of Famer, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Sean Waltman, all of which will be 2-time Hall of Famers. Not on the list of inductees for the nWo was Eric Bischoff. Were you surprised to see that Eric wasn't going in with the rest of the nWo?
Not really. Not really. How many members ultimately were there of the nWo?
It just feels like the guy who created it, maybe ought to be in it. Maybe that's just me.
Well, you got to kind of look at the events as of late where Eric was concerned.
No doubt.
If you look at that as being anything other than, look at it on face value, it is exactly what it was. And we've talked about that before. I did see Dave a couple weeks ago in Louisville at the Comic-Con that we were attending. I came up in catering. I saw him sitting there with his back to me, came up, hugged his neck, had a nice conversation with Dave. I am very happy for him going into the Hall of Fame. Kudos. Dave was always a perfect gentleman, pleasure to work with, and I'm very happy that he is going in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the good guys in the biz.
Very well deserved. Whether you were a big Evolution fan or not, his contributions to the business as a tag guy, as a singles guy, as a member of a faction, can't be denied. And then the tremendous success he's enjoyed outside of wrestling, with the entire, the whole Hollywood run from Guardians of the Galaxy and the James Bond franchise. It's really remarkable what he's been able to do.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.